Breaking news, a frantic search for an abducted teen.
He survived war, but died here at home.
He was an awesome guy.
For the first time, we hear from the wife he left behind.
A mix in the forecast. I'm tracking the next round of winter weather to hit the region. Only on 11, a bold burglary right next to the police station.
This 10-pound rock is just the start of how an intruder went over the top to break in.
Live, local, late breaking. Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Chopper 11 over Frankstown Avenue, where police are responding to a report that a teenage girl has been abducted. A witness told officers they saw a man dragging a girl up a hillside.
Now police from 2 departments searching for a white van they believe is involved in this. The scene along Frankstown Avenue, right at the Pittsburgh border with Penn Hills. Channel 11 News reporter Julie Fine just arrived. And Julie, what can you tell us now?
Well, because this is on the border, you can see right here behind me, you have Penn Hills Police and Pittsburgh Police as well, after a report that 15-year-old girl was abducted. Now, police have heard from a witness who says the girl was grabbed from a hillside right near where we are. That's why police are here. Police are now looking for a white van and a man wearing jeans and a red shirt and glasses. Now, back out here, I am told that the Pittsburgh Police are taking the lead on this investigation. I just saw a sergeant from Major Crimes arrive at the scene. We will be here. We'll bring you all of the latest information. We're live on Frankstown Avenue. Julie Fine, Channel 11 News.
All right, Julie, thank you. Chopper 11 checking out more breaking news. This in Beaver County. 3 people escaped a burning home in Darlington Township. An elderly handicapped man was trapped but was rescued. He's being flown to a hospital. Firefighters still on the scene of that fire. And a live look right now at a crash causing backups on I-79. A tractor trailer rolled over in Robinson Township. This happened in the northbound lanes. The driver had to be rescued. You can see it's off to the side there, but one lane is still closed.
More breaking news now on the manhunt for an ex-police officer in L.A. believed to have gunned several people, 3 people to be exact, in California. This is video just into our newsroom from Big Bear, California, where our NBC affiliate KCAL is reporting that there is a gun battle going on right now between Christopher Dorner and police officers. Officers have been conducting a huge manhunt in that area since last week. Dorner is accused of killing a couple and another cop. This is an active situation we are watching, and we will bring you updates about what is happening there just as soon as we get them.
And our crews have been out all day long covering breaking news the past couple of hours. A car just crashed into a building in East Liberty. So a lot's going on. You're in the right place. As soon as we heard about this breaking news, we sent Renee Kaminsky there, and she is on the scene live with the latest. Renee.
Dave, the cleanup is underway here in East Liberty. I'm at the corner of Penn and South Beatty, and check this out. This is a Jaguar sedan. Believe it or not, the driver and his passenger walked out of this car relatively unharmed. He plowed into the side of this is East Liberty Place, and witnesses tell me he was going very, very fast. Take a look at the intersection. This is where he came through at South Beatty. According to one of the drivers that's in a little white car over there, Mr. Bob Lawson told me that this guy took out the front of his car and then came zooming through this intersection, never once hit his brakes, and then went straight into the side of this building. It is a miracle nobody was hurt out here, because at this time of the day, you've got a lot of pedestrians up and down this sidewalk and in the East Liberty area. I just talked to a police officer. He tells me that the driver and his passenger are pretty much okay. The driver had some blood and some cuts, but walked away from this uninjured, and that is simply amazing. That is the very latest here from East Liberty. I'm Renee Kaminsky. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Renee. What really happened to Jennifer Doherty? Jurors hear from the man on trial for her murder. In his own words, Ricky Smyrns places the blame on others. He told police he did not kill the mentally challenged woman. Channel 11's Courtney Brennan is live in Greensburg, where jurors heard his taped statement to police. Courtney?
That's right, Peggy. And in this taped statement, Ricky Smyrns sounded lucid and fairly well spoken. He sort of sees himself as a Casanova, a ladies' man, and says that Jennifer Doherty was just one of many women he was dating. He said in this taped statement that he loved Jennifer and that he did no harm to her. He places the blame for her torture and death on the 5 other co-defendants.
She would do things for me. I mean, she would hug me, and it was a sensation that I also got scared because I had 2 other women that I actually liked.
Defendant Ricky Smyrns thinks highly of himself when it comes to women. In his taped statement played in court today, he says Jennifer Doherty found herself in this horrific situation because she slept with him.
Is that why a lot of this is happening? Because I had sex with Jennifer. And I still had feelings for Jen.
Smyrns says his girlfriend, Angela Marinucci, was jealous, and she and the other people in the apartment tied Doherty up and beat her and force-fed her disgusting concoctions.
And I'm sitting there crying. You know, I couldn't show my tears, but I'm crying inside over her body like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Even though he was allegedly upset over what was happening, Smyrns says he didn't help Doherty because he was scared of Melvin Knight.
I didn't stab her. I took the knife after he told me to. He told me to get the knife, and my fingerprints are on it because he told me to throw it back in the sink, so I threw it in the sink to wash it off.
A few minutes later, he changes his story.
I did not stab her. The only part that I did was that. And I helped him clean. Yes, and I helped him clean a little bit too.
The prosecution finished their case today and the defense starts early tomorrow morning. The jury could potentially have this case and start deliberating tomorrow afternoon. Reporting live this evening at the Westmoreland County Courthouse, I'm Courtney Brennan, Channel 11 News.
2 of the 6 suspects have been convicted. Angela Marinucci is serving life in prison, and Melvin Knight was sentenced to death by lethal injection.
Now a check on the weather, and we have the latest with our severe Weather Team 11 coverage. We're bracing for more winter weather, rain and snow in the forecast.
Chief Meteorologist Stephen Cropper here with the latest for us. Stephen.
We get glimpses of sunshine and then another one comes in, and that's what's happening tomorrow. Let me show you the latest satellite and radar, and you're looking at cloud cover basically moving in from the north and kind of sliding through the area. We've really enjoyed an afternoon of sunshine, but the latest radar big picture look shows a lot of moisture down in the south. That system moving in from the south will eventually slide our way tomorrow, and here is the latest storm tracker. I just put this together. Here's Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. The morning commute will be dry, but we will have the clouds beginning to move in. Then watch what happens from noon through about 5 o'clock. We get this blue and pink. That's representing some rain and snow moving into the area from the south to the north. So Greene County, Washington, Cannonsburg, you'll get it first, then it'll move into Pittsburgh. There'll be a sharp cutoff to how far north it goes, and the accumulations will also be light as well. Coming up in the full forecast, I'll take you neighborhood by neighborhood. We'll follow this system northward. I'll let you know how much to expect from this system during your afternoon commute Wednesday.
See you then, Stephen. Thanks very much. Well, he survived 2 tours of duty in Iraq, but a local veteran died in a tragic helicopter crash while shooting a reality TV show out in California. Michael Donatelli's family's devastated. His wife talked with Channel 11's Kara Sapida about this shocking loss. Kara?
This man's family is so proud of him. He was a highly decorated veteran, extremely skilled in special operations. His wife told me it is so hard to believe that he survived war only to die shooting a reality TV show.
He adored this country.
Master Sergeant Michael Donatelli can easily be called a local hero here in Indiana County. He spent 23 years as a Green Beret Ranger in Special Forces, serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. His family always praying for his safe return.
His mom was telling me the other day that she was worried every time the doorbell rang that they were going to come and tell her, you know, something happened to Michael.
Today I sat down with his wife Gigi, who said Michael always made it back home to her and their children.
My husband was the best thing God ever put on this earth. And we have 5 kids, and he loved them all.
Until this last trip, Michael was chosen for a new reality TV show on the Discovery Channel and was filming early in the morning on Sunday when his helicopter went down in California.
And my 3-year-old Dominic was his pride and joy, and Dominic's obsessed with his dad. And as a matter of fact, he packed a suitcase today and said he's going to California with his dad.
all 3 people on board died. Today, Michael's father proudly showed me photos of his son, who was a popular boxer growing up, a bodyguard.
This was in Iraq.
And a highly decorated Green Beret Ranger in Special Forces.
He survived all that to come home and die in a dumb helicopter crash. He was doing something he liked and, you know, what he wanted to do, so, you know, we're comforted in that.
Now, the FAA is investigating. They have not said what caused this crash. The Discovery Channel released a statement saying they are cooperating fully with authorities. Their thoughts and prayers go out to the families. Michael was 45 years old. Reporting live tonight, I'm Kara Sapaida, Channel 11 News.
So sad. All right, Kara, thank you. Well, police say a driver was likely drunk and speeding when he crossed the center line, hit another car in Lincoln Place. That car went up in flames after the crash on Mifflin Road late last night, killing 58-year-old Daniel Wolowski. His wife was critically hurt. The couple's daughter tells us they had just gotten off of work and were headed home. The man in the other car, who police believe may have caused this accident, was also taken to a hospital. His name has not been released.
New details on a deadly hit-and-run accident in Point Breeze. The driver in the case has made a plea deal. 46-year-old James Price was thrown from his bike and killed after being hit by the car on Penn Avenue in July. Prosecutors say Jeff McClure sped from the scene. He pleaded guilty to 2 charges this morning, and he was sentenced to up to 5 years in prison. The victim's mother talked with Channel 11's Alan Jennings. What she's saying about this plea deal, that's new at 6. Investigators are looking into what started flames at a garage owned by a fire restoration company. Firefighters were called to Mater's Fire Repair on Phelan Way around 11:30 this morning. When a Channel 11 News photographer pulled up, smoke was billowing from the garage, but the fire was under control. No word on what started it.
Defense attorneys expected to take a closer look at the report from Joe Paterno's family in the Louis Freeh investigation. In his report, the former director of the FBI concluded that Paterno, former Penn State leaders Tim Curley, Gary Schultz, and Graham Spanier covered up the child sex abuse allegations against Jerry Sandusky. The analysis released Sunday by Paterno's family called Freeh's report flawed and resulted in a rush to judgment. Curley, Schultz, and Spanier all face criminal charges. In the meantime, another Penn State trustee is urging a close look at the Paterno family's critique. Trustee Ryan McCombie said in a statement that the findings should give pause to closing the book and moving on from the scandal. Freeh has stood by his conclusions.
A Somerset County woman has pleaded guilty to stealing $4,000 from a Vietnam veterans organization. Lori Sue Fisher, who served as bookkeeper for the Vietnam Veterans of America chapter in Somerset Township, was an Air Force veteran herself. According to the Somerset Daily American, the money was stolen from an account used to help families during illness.
He told police he was thirsty, so he went for a beer. Well, the trouble is, the bar was closed. The quick arrest, that's coming up.
And temperatures above freezing now, 41 in Pittsburgh. Temperatures also around 40 as you travel north. Talking about some rain and snow in the forecast. I'm putting the finishing touches on the latest storm tracker. I'll have that for you coming up.
This is my bread. I feed my family with that.
His store sits right next to the police station, but that didn't stop a desperate crook. The video showing an unbelievable smash and grab. Next.
We have more breaking news, this time from Pittsburgh Police Headquarters, and that's where FBI agents have been removing documents for the last couple of hours. Target 11's Rick Earl has been there for the past couple of hours as well. And Rick, what have you learned?
Yeah, David, well, right now we want to show you some breaking news, developing news right now. You can see FBI agents right here are coming out of the police department here of the Pittsburgh Police Department. Those are FBI agents right now carrying out boxes of documents. You see them right there. These are documents that they confiscated from inside the police department. This is a live picture. You are looking at live pictures right now of FBI agents who removed documents. We understand that these documents were removed from the Special Events Department. Now, that's the department that handles secondary employment for police officers. Now, these FBI agents just removed these documents. They are loading them into a car right now. The deputy police chief here, Paul Donaldson, tells us that the FBI agent showed up this afternoon and served a subpoena on the police department here in search of records. Again, right now they are pooling these documents, putting them into this car. This is all part of an ongoing investigation into activities here at the police department. Of course, Police Chief Nate Harper has been under fire for some time. We're not sure if it's connected to that, but is there anything you can tell us, sir, about these documents?
No, I can't.
What did you seize?
I can't tell.
You can't comment at all?
No, sir.
No comment at all. Okay, there you have it. That's an FBI agent right now. They just finished the raid here at police headquarters. We did talk earlier, a short time ago, to Deputy Police Chief Paul Donaldson. Here's what he had to say about that FBI raid.
They did have a subpoena. They issued subpoenas, and they asked to have copies of a number of records, as I said. And most of them involved secondary employment, special events, training travel, and I don't know specifically what other records they were looking for, but they did talk to people in personnel and finance also.
Again, that was Deputy Chief Paul Donaldson explaining what the FBI was looking for here. And just minutes ago, they left the police headquarters here with boxes of documents. It looked like about 10 or 12 boxes of documents that the FBI carted away. Again, Chief Donaldson telling us that it appears to be dealing with the Special Events Department. That's the department that handles secondary employment for police officers when they want to work outside of bars on Carson Street or down at the stadium. So a developing story here. We'll stay on top of this and bring you the very latest as it develops throughout the newscast. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Rick. A local store's front window all taped up tonight after a smash and grab crime. But the burglar didn't get what he came for. The store owner showed us the surveillance video. Channel 11's Renee Kaminsky has a closer look that you will see only on 11.
That's really heavy, and that went through your window.
Yes.
The thief who bashed his way into Hassan Ansari's family business in Wilkinsburg overnight was not your typical smash and grab intruder. That's why Hassan called police and then Channel 11.
It's amazing.
Keep your eye on the right side of your screen as a dark figure tosses a 10-pound rock through the very top of the glass entryway, then climbs up and over into Hassan's store.
He walked towards my register that is right there. He grabbed that register and threw it on the floor.
After giving up on getting anything out of the locked cash register, the thief took an entire box loaded with cartons of cigarettes worth more than $2,000 of Hassan's hard-earned money.
This is my bread. I feed my family with that. So it hurt me a lot.
He was only in the store for 2 minutes and then he left in the same way he got in, climbing 6 feet up, over and through broken glass. Just a few days ago, Hassan's business neighbor on the corner was burglarized. So even though this surveillance video isn't the greatest, Hassan is hoping someone will recognize the man who stole from him and his family and turned him in.
Go get a job. Do something with your life. This is not right. Taking somebody's money is like that. I work almost every day. Work hard for my money.
We were just saying that it made a lot of sense what he just said there. The police station happens to be right across the street, and Wilkinsburg police want to hear from anyone who may have information about this break-in.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast in high definition.
Well, we're tracking some rain and snow showers moving back into the area. There could be a couple of isolated slick spots tomorrow, but I'll show you temperatures are going to warm up during the afternoon, which will play in our favor. We do keep a cold wintry forecast through Saturday, though, with more snow showers rolling in. All right, here's your Wednesday planner. We start the morning 7 a.m., 29, dry, though it will be mostly cloudy. Temperatures jump pretty quickly above freezing to noon, 37. We will see some rain and snow showers developing south to north, and I'll show you that on Storm Tracker again in a moment. And by 5 o'clock, all areas from Pittsburgh south expecting some rain and snow showers. Temperature, though, still during that afternoon commute expected to be above freezing. This is the latest Storm Tracker starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. I just put it back together in the commercial break to show you the trend as we watch this system kind of give us a glancing blow from the south. Not a lot of moisture with it, and it's a quick mover, but there will be some rain and snow showers by noon, working into Cannonsburg, working through Jeanette, Irwin, Trafford, North Versailles, getting some rain and snow, and also working into Pittsburgh. Notice this sharp cutoff line to the north and to the west. So Butler not expecting any precip, and nor is Newcastle up towards Clarion County and Venango counties. The system moves through in about a 6 to 8 hour period. The trend for slick spots would be more likely tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Not a lot of moisture with it, as I mentioned. Maybe a 1/10 of an inch of snowfall around Pittsburgh, maybe a couple of inches as you get to Deep Creek, Lake Maryland. 28 tonight, partly cloudy, not as windy. Tomorrow, rain and snow developing after lunch. Isolated slick spots as we see the temperature fall from 39 down to 26 tomorrow night. We keep scattered snow showers on the picture through the forecast Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. High temperature Saturday 29, 27 under partly cloudy skies Sunday.
Fire breaks out on a school bus, and it's captured on cell phone video.
We're finding out about this fight and why it's the driver who is in big trouble tonight.
More than 25 years after graduating high school, one man is living out his dream as a college basketball player.
One man not letting his age stop him from living his dream of playing college basketball. Tonight, Channel 11's Rich Walsh introduces us to Brian Rice, a freshman on the Geneva basketball team.
He's not the tallest, can't jump the highest, but one thing that separates Brian Rice from the rest of the Geneva basketball team, he's definitely the oldest, and it's not even close.
I'm 43.
43 years old. What made you come back to college basketball?
Just the love of the game.
Rice graduated Newcastle High School before most of his teammates were even born in 1987. But instead of pursuing basketball then, he joined the Navy.
I decided, no, let's do the military for 4 years and let's see where that takes us. So
4 years turns into how many?
24 and a half.
The man they call chief around the court is living out a dream.
Into the Geneva lineup, number 45, Brian Rice.
My hope was that it would encourage others to know that you're not too old to pursue whatever your dream is. It may not be college basketball. It might be something as simple as going back to school and getting your GED. But whatever, it is that you have dreamt to do, it's never too late.
Rice's story is more than just being a 43-year-old basketball player. He's a father figure, a mentor to his teammates that are half his age, on and off the basketball court.
Every now and then I'll pull players to the side and say, hey, look, this, why don't you think about this, why don't you think about that? And I think the deliverance of it makes it the most, they're more receptive because I'm out there running with them.
Rice will earn his degree in less than a year and is an inspiration to all.
Hard work, there's no exception for hard work. If you work hard, things will pan out for you.
At Geneva College, Rich Walsh, Channel 11 News.
Boy, what a great story.
I love that story.
He's my hero, really. I'd love to play college basketball. It's been a crazy day in the newsroom here at Channel 11. We're following several breaking news stories right now.
First, a reported abduction in Penn Hills. Police, we hear, are looking into reports that a 15-year-old was dragged into a van. Our Julie Fine is live where the investigation is happening right now.
Plus, Rick Earl investigates some questionable use of your taxpayer dollars for private projects, an indoor sports facility, a sound stage, natural gas drilling. We ask if this is why we're broke.
Live, local, late breaking. Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
A busy day of breaking news, and it starts with this new video. That's FBI and IRS agents removing boxes of evidence from Pittsburgh Police Headquarters late this afternoon, just a few minutes ago, in fact. The material they're removing is in connection with a grand jury investigation involving the police chief, Nate Harper. And check out this breaking news video from East Liberty. This just a short time ago, a driver careened out of control and into a building there. Now, amazingly, he and a passenger were relatively unhurt. Witnesses say the driver was speeding when he went through an intersection, hit a car, and then into that building. And we want to check on the situation in Robinson Township. PennDOT cameras show crews working to remove an overturned big rig on I-79. From Chopper 11, we can see what happened in the tricky S-bend area there. We're told the driver was alert, but did have to be rescued. And we're following reports a 15-year-old girl was abducted just a short time ago. Chopper 11 high over Penn Hill shortly after this report this afternoon. And from the ground, crews were out looking for a white van man possibly involved in the abduction. Witnesses report seeing a girl being put in the back of a van. We have Channel 11's Julie Fine on the scene. Look for reports from the next half an hour from her right there. Now, new at 5:30, a tavern targeted.
And the thief who police caught red-handed wasn't after money. Our Shelby Zaratny explains.
James O'Hanlon may be parched, but thirst didn't give him the right to break into the Castle Tavern on Library Road. Now he's facing charges. It started when the alarm to police came in at 9 this morning. Castle Shannon officers went to check it out.
We can't underscore enough the fact that we're happy that their business was alarmed.
There they found a broken window on the south side of the building and sent their canine to find out who or what was inside. Just at that moment, a motion sensor went off in the tavern's dining room. Believing their suspect was still inside, officers set up a perimeter, and just after 9, their suspect came out of the building. Police arrested O'Hanlon.
As long as he would have paid for the beer, he could have had a beer when we were open.
The tavern opens at 11. Police believe O'Hanlon grabbed a metal bar and busted through the window that way in order to pop open that beer. He faces a number of charges, including burglary and theft. Live in Castle Shannon, Shelby Zaratny, Channel 11 News.
Well, some sunshine in the area now, some clouds to the north. By this time tomorrow, we'll be talking about some rain and snow. A lot of moisture moving in from the south. Here's Pittsburgh. It's still several hours away, in fact, about 18 hours away, but we will see by tomorrow afternoon some rain and snow moving back into the area. This is your timeline, 12 noon tomorrow, looking at light snow in blue. Pink represents that rain-snow mix. All areas expected to be above freezing during this event, so we're not anticipating widespread travel issues. Unless you're traveling to Deep Creek Lake, Maryland, Garrett County, you might pick up some steadier snowfall there. Coming up in the full forecast, I'll show you neighborhood by neighborhood what we expect in terms of snowfall from this event. We'll also talk temperatures through the weekend. Another shot of cold air coming our way. See you then.
New tonight, an Evans City man arrested outside of a Butler County hotel. Police say he was trying to meet up with a 13-year-old stranger. Our Amy Marcinkowitz found out how he actually arranged a meeting with a jail cell.
According to the criminal complaint, Attorney General agents caught him red-handed. Agents saying they arrested this man, Dennis Bells, outside a Cranberry Township Butler County hotel. Officials say this was the meeting place for Bells and a 13-year-old girl. Problem is, the person the suspect was talking to over the internet was no girl at all, but a special agent with the Child Predator Unit. According to the police paperwork, Bells' username was Running Hard 011. Agents say he struck up a conversation online. He thought he was talking to a teenage girl and her mother. Most of the internet chats were way too graphic to show on TV, but according to the criminal complaint, Bells said, "I am looking to be part of a family with girls. I am attracted to younger girls." Speaking to the mother about her daughter, he said, "I won't hurt her. A lot of people think this is wrong and sick." Bells lives on the main drag in Evans City. We went to his house, knocked on his door to see if anyone from his family was around. No one answered. State Attorney General agents say what this 45-year-old man did is illegal, and Monday they arrested him, charged him with attempted sex acts against a child. Amy Marcinkowitz, Channel 11 News.
And new at 5:30, a burglary at a cell phone store in McKeesport is caught on camera. Police say surveillance video captured the man you see in the denim jacket robbing Verizon Wireless. The 50 to 60-year-old man took an air card worth $350. He is about 250 pounds, stands about 5'8" tall. No one was hurt. If you recognize that man, call police. A teenager will serve jail time for shooting at a convenience store in the city of Washington. According to the Observer reporter, a judge sentenced Leonardo Porter 3 to 6 years for his role in a shooting at Mega Express last summer.
Police say he and Hakeem Warren opened fire on a vehicle and then injured the driver. Warren is currently in jail on bond. His hearing is scheduled for February 25th.
The latest details now on a breaking story we brought you during our morning show this afternoon. We talked to a grandmother who heard sirens heading toward a home that's been in her family for generations. And what's worse, her granddaughter and great-grandson were sleeping inside.
My heart just dropped, you know, because I knew that they were out here.
Ahead at 6, how the family inside managed to make it out thanks to the way one of them was sleeping. We also have new details on a decorated firefighter accused of raping a woman in Beaver County. Prosecutors dropped the charges against Lee Finlayson. Instead, police are now investigating his accuser. The defense claims she hacked Finlayson's phone and sent herself an alleged confession text. The fight between two teenage girls.
And the only adult around does nothing to stop it.
And she just keeps driving. Oh, my goodness.
Ahead, the disturbing 4-minute video without 1 second of action from the bus driver.
Carnival is the fun line, which I don't know if it's the fun line now.
Well, power's out, and so's the plumbing in that. Ahead, more than 4,000 passengers with no place to go and conditions getting worse.
And another breaking news story now, this one from Darlington Township. Let's get out to Channel 11's Amy Marcinkowitz now with new information on a fiery rescue. Amy?
Well, that's right, Peggy. We are here in Darlington Township, Beaver County. You can see behind me that the fire trucks are still here. They are actually wrapping up. One of the victims is inside that ambulance. They are waiting to take him away. A fire broke out here about 3:30 this afternoon. Let's take a look at Chopper 11. We sent the helicopter out right when we got this call. They flew over the scene here on Enon Road in Darlington Township. We were told that two 80-year-old twins, Irma and Irene, were inside the house. They managed to get out of the house. Their 60-year-old brother, Marvin Bibby, could not get out. He was on the first floor. There were thick flames and a lot of smoke. Back here on the ground, let's take a look at what we shot when we arrived. Marvin was inside that house and he needed help. We were told that Darlington police showed up. An officer ran into that house, fire everywhere, smoke everywhere, and tried to grab Marvin, but Marvin is a bigger man, about 450 pounds, we are told, and he just could not lift him. The firefighters were here, Johnny, on the spot. About 6 of them ran in. No hoses, nothing. They just ran in, put up some air packs, and dragged Marvin out. He is in the back of the ambulance, and he is going to be going to the hospital here shortly. But like I said, firefighters here had a heck of a time getting him out.
There was fire coming out of the side of the house. I said heavy smoke conditions down to approximately a foot off of the floor. When our police officer came out of the building, after trying to get the man out, his face was covered in black soot.
Okay, we can tell you that fire crews are now wrapping up. Now it's the fire marshal's turn to get out here and investigate, but a lot of people here on the scene, the firefighters told me that one of the twins told them that they were inside the house blow drying their hair and something happened. So they're definitely going to take a look at that. But all 3 people, the 2 80-year-old twins and the 60-year-old man, they are fine thanks to quick actions by firefighters and police. Reporting live, Amy Marcinkowitz, Channel 11 News.
We were at a pretty good tilt. To walk, you literally walked sideways.
More than 4,200 passengers and crew on the Carnival cruise ship Triumph are spending a 3rd day on the hobbled vessel. A fire on Sunday left it without power. Officials now say it'll be Thursday before those passengers return to Mobile, Alabama, where they're slowly being towed. Conditions on board described as deteriorating quickly. 90-degree heat, no air conditioning, few working toilets, just a mess. The ship set sail from Galveston, Texas on Thursday, was supposed to arrive back on Monday. Carnival said all the passengers would receive a refund.
Coming up new at 6, a deadly hit and run.
He just left.
We're there as family learns how the driver will be punished.
The debate over public money for these private projects. Target 11 investigates a controversial tax-funded government grant program.
An indoor sports facility, a sound stage, and a natural gas drilling company. All of them have one thing in common. They're all private companies that have been awarded public tax dollars. And it got us asking the important question, is this why we're broke? Target 11 investigator Rick Earl dug deeper into this controversial tax-funded program that's poured millions into private projects. Rick?
Well, Peggy, the program so far has paid out $3.5 billion of your tax dollars. Now, a lot of that money has gone to some very important projects, but we discovered that some of it has also gone to some private companies. Some say it's a waste of your tax dollars. Others say it's worth it.
They bring their dogs on here, let them run.
Ken Schultz fought the construction of an indoor baseball facility next to his home in Butler Township and won. But what he found almost as troubling as the location, the owners of the proposed facility received a $500,000 tax dollar grant to help pay for it.
Why is our tax dollars going to something like this? It's unbelievable, especially in today's economy.
Attorney Tom King represents the owners of the proposed Matt Clement Baseball Academy and Sports Training Facility.
This facility will produce jobs. It will produce tax revenue for the school, the county, and the township.
Target 11 discovered that this isn't the only private project funded by the same state initiative known as the Redevelopment Capital Assistance Program, or RCAP.
Corporate welfare through RCAP and these other programs is a perfect example of how government has been perverted to create a system that only benefits those with connections.
Target 11 obtained the list of RCAP projects, and while there's plenty of money for nonprofits like hospitals, zoos, and universities, there's also millions of dollars for private projects, including $200,000 to a soundstage company in McKees Rocks, $500,000 for expansion to a medical research firm in Pittsburgh, $2 million to a drilling company to aid with construction costs, moving its headquarters from Morgantown to Waynesburg, and $6 million to a contractor to turn the old Goodwill building on Carson Street into apartments and shops. Is this money critical to these projects?
Absolutely critical. These projects would not happen but for this money.
Allegheny County Economic Development Director Dennis Davin says a lot of these projects help energize the economy and are directly linked to 17,000 jobs in our area. For example, he said the $20 million that went to develop sites near the airport now includes the headquarters of Dick's Sporting Goods.
If we develop it, it gives us an advantage over a number of other areas in the United States to attract businesses and have businesses that are in the Pittsburgh region give them the ability to grow here and not somewhere else.
I think you have to ask yourselves, if these are such valuable projects, if they're going to create numerous jobs, if they're going to really stimulate an area, then why can't they get funding in the private sector? Why can't they raise the funds themselves?
Now, a spokesman for the soundstage tells me they were awarded that grant, but so far haven't received any RCAP money. As far as that sports training facility, they tell me they are now looking at other sites, but they may ultimately return and try to do it at that original site. Now, if you want to see the list of projects across the state that received this RCAP money, you can go to our website and click on the link in my story. Reporting live on the north side, Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
And we are looking for your ideas about why we're broke. You can email them to us at target11@wpxi.com. You can also reach Rick Earl and Target 11 through Facebook and Twitter.
Millions in the Northeast are still digging out.
Glimpse of what they're dealing with.
This is time-lapse video in Hartford, Connecticut. Started at 4 Friday afternoon. Take a look there. Watch the dials on the clock. Watch the snow rising.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
It's really cool.
Yeah, time goes by and the snow just keeps on falling. Pretty soon that clock's going to disappear. By the time it was all over on Saturday morning, the blizzard had dumped nearly 3 feet of snow. So pretty interesting video there. Good idea.
And here's some tracking. We are tracking snow for tomorrow, but not quite that much. Stephen.
Yeah, nothing like that. We're going to see some rain and snow coming in. There could be a couple of slick spots coming in primarily south of Pittsburgh tomorrow night. Let me show you what we're tracking. The severe weather risk in the moderate category. Rain and snow developing tomorrow afternoon and continuing to move into the area through the evening. And then we're keeping snow showers on the menu through Saturday. So a cold, wintry forecast following this rain and snow event. Wanted to start first with temperatures because they've been flip-flopping back and forth. In fact, we're at 41 now, relatively mild. The average high is about 39. So we're close to that. But look what happens tomorrow. We drop off tomorrow morning, but then we begin to rebound well above freezing around the noon hour into the early afternoon. And this is the critical time as to when that next system will be moving in. And I can show you that on Storm Tracker in a couple of different perspectives. Starting tomorrow morning with the big picture look, this is a southern storm, so it's going to be scooting by to our south. It will push moisture northward, but there's not going to be a very far northward push to it. Here's what I mean. Clarion County, Butler County, over to Beaver County, you will be seeing very light moisture, if any, as this storm scoots by in about a 6 to 8 hour period. And then as we watch the storm move away, the core of the system will be focused on Garrett County and Preston County in Maryland. Let me give you a closer perspective. We are dry tomorrow morning. Here's 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and this is the latest storm tracker. In fact, I just put this one together, and it is pushing the storm a little farther to the south. So Pittsburgh still dry through 2 o'clock tomorrow based on this forecast, and the pink represents a rain and snow mix for Greensburg. But again, remember, I showed you on the map there with the temperatures that we're going to be above freezing, so we're not expecting widespread travel issues. By the afternoon commute, a couple of light snow showers in Pittsburgh, other areas getting some rain and snow, and then the storm, as I mentioned, scoots out of here by tomorrow evening. So a short duration, 6, maybe 8 hours of rain and snow, and then it slides out of here. And Thursday, actually shaping up to be pretty nice with some sunshine mixed with the clouds. This snowfall forecast varies, as you might imagine. Where you're getting rain and snow, your snow totals will be greatly reduced. Just a coating around Pittsburgh, and then areas north, as I mentioned, Beaver Falls, nothing. Butler County not expecting any snow. Northern parts of Armstrong and Indiana counties also not expecting much snow at all. High temperatures continue to climb as we go through the short term. By the weekend, though, the bottom drops out. Saturday and Sunday, highs struggling to get out of the 20s. Forecast starts off tonight with dry conditions, 28, snow and rain developing during the afternoon and evening tomorrow, 39 the high temperature and still mild through the afternoon commute. Thursday's high temperature at 41, evening snow showers back into the picture for Friday as well. Your 5-day forecast always includes the weekend, 29 on Saturday, scattered snow showers, and then 27 on Sunday. Partly cloudy skies. Hey, text weekend to 70123. Speaking of the weekend, it will get you that weekend forecast text to you.
All right, Stephen, thank you very much. Well, if you're trying to figure out exactly how much that surgery is going to cost you, well, good luck. Researchers at the University of Iowa have found the cost can vary by thousands of dollars depending on the hospital. They've compared the price of a common procedure, hip replacement. Of the hospital surveyed, only 16% provided an immediate bundled price that included the doctor's fee and the hospital cost. Nearly half came up with a price only after the healthcare providers were contacted. When the prices were given, they ranged from just over $11,000 to nearly $126,000.
Wow, that's a
big difference.
Yes. A heart-stopping scene unfolding on a school bus outside of Atlanta.
You can see it here in cell phone video. 2 girls engaged in a brutal fight. What the bus driver does next might leave you with a few questions.
And reports of a girl abducted, cries for help. Our breaking news coverage coming up at the top of the hour, a look at where this investigation stands right now.
And a home in charred ruins in Washington County. And new at 6, we'll tell you how a mother and baby got out alive. We have breaking news right now on the manhunt in Southern California. Police now say the fugitive ex-cop fired at 2 officers this afternoon and is barricaded inside a cabin in the mountains. Officers being flown to the hospital. We don't know the extent of their injuries. Earlier in the day, someone in the Bear Lake area reported a stolen car and said the suspect looked a lot like Christopher Dorner. Dorner is the suspected one. He's suspected in the shooting deaths of 3 people. A news conference is expected in the next half hour. Watch for late breaking details coming up on NBC Nightly News tonight with Brian Williams.
Fights on school buses don't normally make the news, but our sister station in Atlanta got a hold of some video. What is upsetting and equally troubling is the bus driver's reaction, or lack thereof. Check out this cell phone video of 2 middle school girls from Georgia in a vicious fight on the school bus. You can see one student slam the other's head into the bus window. She even stomps her. You also hear cheers from the other students. What you don't hear or see is the bus driver doing anything to get the students to break it up. The video goes on for 4 minutes, and the bus driver never stops the bus or intervenes.
And she just keeps driving. Oh, my goodness.
Parents in the school district were not happy.
She doesn't even react to it. How can she keep driving?
A district spokesman says the driver has been disciplined. He said the driver should have verbally tried to get the girls to stop fighting or safely pull the bus over and break up the fight. If they continued, he says the driver should have used the radio to contact the transportation department and have managers call the sheriff's office if necessary. Other parents say the driver didn't protect the students. The district would not release the name of the driver or the punishment it doled out.
They should be watching better than that.
The spokesman said that students on the bus were disciplined as well, but the district declined to say what exactly the punishment was.
A girl seen dragged away. We're live on the search for her and her abductor. It's one of 5 breaking news stories we're covering right now at 6.
Live, local, late breaking. Channel 11 News starts with breaking news.
We are your breaking news station in Pittsburgh.
And right now, Peggy, we have several big breaking stories unfolding right now. Up first, reports of a girl abducted in the East Hills. We're getting word of a possible sighting of a van police are looking for. And Channel 11's Julie Fine is covering this. She's live with brand new information and video. Julie.
Well, I have a lot of new information right now. Just moments ago, we talked to Pittsburgh Police Lieutenant Kevin Krause. He says they don't know the identity of this girl. They are asking anybody with any information to come forward. And a lot has happened here in the past 2 hours. The sheriffs arrived here a little while ago with some dogs. They went up in an alley across the street from where all of the police officers are now. Police have been here since after 4. At 3 o'clock, I'm now told by Lieutenant Krause, they got a call from a juvenile who reported seeing a teen girl getting pulled into a white van. They think about 14 years old. Police are now looking for a man in a red shirt, jeans, and glasses. But again, you can see all the officers here behind me right now. Again, they don't know who this girl is. They've just spoken to one witness. They're calling on the public. They're asking for anybody to come forward that could have any information to help them find her. We're live on Frankstown Avenue. Julie Fine, Channel 11 News.
All right, Julie, thank you. And more breaking news right now about questions surrounding Pittsburgh Police Chief Nate Harper and the Pittsburgh Police. Target 11 investigator Rick Earl live at police headquarters where he just witnessed several federal agents hauling away evidence. Rick.
Yeah, David, the police chief here, Nate Harper, has been under fire for about a month now, but my sources here at police headquarters are telling me that this FBI raid has to do with the Special Events Department. Now, that's the department that schedules secondary employment for police officers at bars and construction sites. Now, take a look at this video. Just about 45 minutes ago, we brought you live pictures as FBI agents carried out 8 boxes filled with documents. Sources tell me there have been a lot of questions and concerns raised by officers about who gets those secondary employment jobs. Sources tell me that the same officers were getting the best jobs and the best pay all the time. Now, Deputy Chief Paul Donaldson said agents served the subpoena this afternoon, spent a couple of hours collecting documents in the Special Events Department here at police headquarters. Donaldson tells me they also went into the finance office. Now, the FBI isn't commenting on this raid, and we have not heard from Police Chief Nate Harper as of yet. That is the very latest reporting live at police headquarters on the north side. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
All right, Rick, and we cover breaking news whenever and wherever it happens, including in Beaver County tonight. That is where firefighters rushed into the burning home to rescue elderly siblings inside. Channel 11's Amy Marcinkowitz has been talking to those who helped get them out. Amy?
Everybody here is amazed at what these guys did. The police officer, the firefighters that went into this burning home. The majority of the damage on the home is on the other side, but there is damage. And it started on the first floor. Now, the fire broke out a little after 3:30 here in Darlington Township, Beaver County. Inside the house, 80-year-old twin sisters and their 60-year-old brother. Now, the sisters managed to get out of the house. The first floor was heavily damaged. There was lots of fire, lots of smoke. Their brother was overcome by smoke, and he was on the ground. Now, a Darlington Township police officer was the first on scene, and without any regard for his own life, he ran inside the burning home and tried to pick Marvin Bibby up and carry him out, but he just couldn't. Firefighters say Marvin is a bigger guy, about 450 pounds, and when he couldn't get to him, the firefighters showed up. Now, 6 of them ran in by using their air packs. They lifted him up and they got him outside. Now, neighbors we talked to say this isn't out of the ordinary for these firefighters and police.
That's not the first time this happened. This happened just a couple weeks ago down in Darlington. Our firefighters went right in and saved 2 people.
Doesn't surprise you?
Doesn't surprise me a bit. We have the best. Darlington Township and all the surrounding communities are the best.
Okay, we can tell you that the fire marshal will be out here on the scene probably tomorrow to check this out, but the sisters did tell officials that they were blow drying their hair when something happened. Now, one of the sisters was taken to the hospital just to be checked out. Marvin was just taken away by an ambulance to be checked out because he was overcome and had a smoke inhalation. Reporting live, Amy Marcinkowicz, Channel 11 News.
And yet more breaking news, this time in East Liberty. A car crashed into a building at the intersection of Penn and South Beatty, causing extensive damage, as you see right there. Witnesses say the driver was speeding as he went through the intersection. They say he hit another car first before plowing into that building. Luckily, no one was seriously hurt. Chopper 11 over more breaking news on I-79 in Robinson Township. A tractor trailer overturned in the northbound lanes near the S bend there. The driver had to be rescued. Traffic was getting by, but slowly.
A deadly hit and run. A bicyclist killed by a driver who sped away from the scene. New at 6, we were there as the family learned the punishment for the driver. Channel 11's Alan Jennings live with the plea deal. It's not making it easy for them. Alan.
David, it's not about jail time. To the Price family, it's about forgiving the man who killed their son. And for Mom tonight, it's still an uphill battle. She still agonizes over the memory of that fateful night.
But for James, he to go for a bike ride.
Still mourning the death of her son, James Price Jr., struck by a speeding driver without a license here on Penn Avenue near Penfield Court last summer.
He was awesome.
Today, Jeffrey McClure, the driver, was sentenced to the maximum 2.5 to 5 years in a state prison. James Price Sr. was in court for the sentencing and told me he has already forgiven Jeffrey McClure.
I have forgiven him. I really have. I would have hugged him right there.
The family told me James Price Jr. was ready to become an HVAC technician when he died. It wasn't long ago the Prices were mourning the loss of their older son, Kevin, to cancer.
We got his picture everywhere. We even got our little... I got one son on one side, and I got the other son. I turn them each day.
The Prices confided to me that after losing both of their sons, their only peace now comes through prayer.
He loved people.
Before he was sentenced, Jeffrey McClure begged the court to allow him to serve his time at a boot camp. Judge Beth Lazara denied that request. He was led out of the courtroom in handcuffs, headed to state prison. Reporting live at Pittsburgh Police, Alan Jennings, Channel 11 News.
All right, Alan, and you know that plea deal has a lot of people talking on our Facebook page. Adia writes, only 2 years for killing someone and running away? And Valleys asks, this is all a person's life is worth? What a travesty. That was just one in a series of car-bicycle accidents that we had over the last summer in Pittsburgh. They forced city leaders to talk about safety and add new bike routes away from busy city streets.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast in high definition.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. A quick update, and we're tracking rain and snow for tomorrow. You can see a lot of rain to the south, and this is what will be moving our way as we go through the day tomorrow. In fact, this hour tomorrow night, we'll be dealing with some rain and snow. Let me show you the latest storm tracker. Here's your timeline. Top right of the screen, you know Wednesday morning we're dry, but by 12 o'clock, we're beginning to see some light rain and snow showers for Cannonsburg over to Fayette County and continuing to track northward. Rain and snow in Pittsburgh by the afternoon commute, but the air temperature will be warm enough that we're only anticipating isolated slick spots. Cold air follows, though. Snow showers through Saturday. Hey, coming up in the full forecast, I'll show you a complete storm tracker. Time that system into and out of your neighborhood.
See you then, Stephen. Thank you, sir. Well, a tragic crash during a shooting of a new reality TV show. A helicopter went down just north of Los Angeles. And what happened in Southern California has had a devastating impact on a family back here in Indiana County. Channel 11's Kara Sapita talked to the parents of a local war veteran killed in that crash. Kara.
David, this man's family is so proud of him. He is a highly decorated war veteran, extremely skilled in special operations. Today, I talked to his wife, who said it is so hard for her to wrap her head around the fact that he survived war time and again, only to die filming this reality TV show. Master Sergeant Michael Donatelli spent 23 years as a Green Beret Ranger in Special Forces serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. His family always praying for his safe return. Michigan, and he always made it back home until this last trip, and it wasn't for the military. Michael was filming a new reality TV show on the Discovery Channel about special ops, filming in the early morning hours on Sunday when his helicopter went down in California. The 45-year-old father of 5 was tragically killed.
My husband was the best thing God ever put on this earth. And we have 5 kids, and he loved them all. He did, and my 3-year-old Dominic was his pride and joy, and Dominic's obsessed with his dad. And as a matter of fact, he packed a suitcase today and said he's going to California with his dad.
Heartbreaking hearing this woman's stories of her husband's bravery. Today, Michael's father also showed me photos of his son. In addition to being a highly decorated soldier, he was also a popular boxer in our area and a bodyguard. Now, the FAA is still investigating this crash. There is no word on what caused it, and the Discovery Channel released a statement saying they are cooperating fully with authorities. Their thoughts and prayers go out to the families. Reporting live tonight, I'm Kara Sapaida, Channel 11 News.
All right, Kara, so sad. Well, a grandmother heard sirens headed to a home that's been in her family for generations.
A home with her granddaughter and great-grandson inside.
Oh, my heart just dropped.
Now, how the family inside managed to make it out, even though they were sleeping.
But first, the Legionnaires' outbreak at the VA. We're learning how it wasn't just contained to the hospital building. The latest now in the investigation into the deadly Legionnaires' outbreak at a VA hospital. Our partners at the Trib got a copy of the report by the Centers for Disease Control. It found there was a widespread outbreak, so much so the bacteria contaminated an outdoor decorative fountain. The CDC says the fountain may have been a possible source of the outbreak. The report goes on to say that it found workers superheated and flushed pipes half a dozen times from January 2011 to October of 2012.
Baldwin Borough Police are consulting with the Allegheny County District Attorney's Office to determine if charges will be filed in connection with a domestic dispute that led to a police shooting. That's according to our news partners at the Trib. It happened early Sunday morning at a house on Elmwood Drive. 2 officers opened fire when a man inside the house wouldn't open the door and wouldn't reveal what was in his hand. Charges could include child endangerment because there were kids in the house at the time. Sergeant Ralph Miller was shot in the hip. He remains in the hospital tonight.
Governor Tom Corbett wants to privatize alcohol sales in Pennsylvania. New polls show you're okay with that. Governor's plan calls for the state to get out of the liquor business, making it easier for you to buy beer and wine statewide. Here's what the Conservative Commonwealth Foundation found. 61% of those polled support the idea. In Allegheny County, the support is even greater. Men like the idea, so do women. It's now up to state lawmakers to draw up that legislation.
Dozens of homeless animals from the Beaver County Humane Society have settled into their new homes tonight. 3 dozen animals were moved earlier this month from the old facility to the new location on Broadhead Road in Center Township. The shelter supervisor says the move was stressful for the animals, but says they are adjusting.
It's just a happier, brighter facility. They have more space. They have more area to play. They have play yards. So I think they're enjoying it. It didn't take them long to calm down.
A soft opening was held today. Services will be limited until the grand opening in early May.
Now the Supercuts Sports Report. Supercuts open 7 days a week.
Good evening. A story in today's Trib says that Steelers linebacker James Harrison won't take a pay cut. I just spoke with Harrison's agent, Bill Parise, and he tells me they're willing to help the cause by restructuring Harrison's deal. But Parise says he thinks the whole story is media contrived. Parise says he's not anticipating James not being a Steeler. Penn's defenseman Chris Letang was back on the ice again today. Letang officially listed as day-to-day, and he's working his way back from a lower body injury. But he appears to be getting close to a return, although no word on when he might be back. Matt Niskanen is also getting closer to getting back, although his return doesn't appear to be imminent. Niskanen injured his knee late last month against Ottawa.
Today was the best I've felt since the injury happened, so I think there's a few spots where I have a little bit of an issue. I think it's mostly a strength thing, but it's coming along good, and feeling better and better every day.
We've had guys step up. It gives other guys an opportunity and to play within our system, and they've done a great job so far. You know, for us, it's you know, you have to keep playing no matter what, and whoever's in the lineup. You know, obviously, hopefully sooner we get him back, the better. But I think they're both coming along really well.
The Penguins have had a day off and a day of practice to think about what happened over the weekend. They lost on Saturday in New Jersey and then on Sunday night at the Consol Energy Center, also to the Devils. Captain Sidney Crosby says he thinks he knows the cure for what ails them.
Our offensive zone time's got to get a little bit better. I think we, you know, saw on the weekend, you know, that's something that kind of went against the way we wanted to play. They played a lot of time in our end, and that's something that we usually pride ourselves on. So I think we want to improve in that area.
Remember, this Sunday the Penguins will take on the Sabres in Buffalo, and we'll get your hockey day started with a special 11 on the Ice pregame show at 11:30. I'll be joined by Bill Phillips, Rich Walsh, and our partner Josh Yohe, the Pens beat writer for the Trib. Our 11 on the Ice pregame special will be followed by NHL on NBC live at noon, with the game starting at 12:30 right here on WPXI. Bill Phillips is ready to head south. Stephen, should we tell him it's going to be 80 degrees here next week? Bill's spring training reports will start Friday from Pirate City in Bradenton. It's tough duty, but somebody has to do it. I'm Albie Oxenrider, and that's sports.
Wish it were me. I'm in the wrong department. Next on Nightly News, breaking news on that manhunt for a fugitive former cop in Southern California.
And that is a live picture of that manhunt, the search there in California. We will see you later on Channel 11 News on Fox 53 at 10. Back here tonight for 11 at 11.
Good night, everyone.